We are done with rule for perimeter of a square. Then we discussed rule for perimeter of a rectangle. And as we had said that we are going to discuss for the rule for perimeter of an equilateral triangle. So how you will use a variable, because we learned in case of square and rectangle. So on the basis of that, just pause the video. Just pause this video and think that using variables, how can you write or form the rule for perimeter of an equilateral triangle? Just pause the video and think for it. Okay, so I assume that you would have found that rule for the perimeter of an equilateral triangle, and let's check it whether it is correct or not. So if this is our equilateral triangle, then we know that in an equilateral triangle, all the angles are equal to each other. This angle A is equal to angle B is equal to angle C. Well, that is not, that's not the point of interest for us, because since we are discussing for the perimeter. So in equilateral triangle, all the sides are also equal, and that is point of our interest. Side AB is equal to side BC is equal to side CA. The length of all the sides are equal because it is an equilateral triangle. Now, therefore, the perimeter of an equilateral triangle will be equal to what? Side AB plus side BC plus length of side CA. And this will be equal to what? Since all the sides are equal, therefore 3 times length of a side of an equilateral triangle. Okay, so this will be the formula for the perimeter, and we know that we have discussed all these things in mensuration. What's important is now use variables and tell or write the rule for perimeter of an equilateral triangle. So if I suppose that the perimeter is represented by P, small p, and it is a perimeter of an equilateral triangle, and if I suppose that each side of an equilateral triangle, of this equilateral triangle, is of length A, so what will be the rule? It will be 3 times A, or we can also write it as P is equal to 3A. We know that, we have discussed this. 3A means 3 times A. So this will be our rule. Now it's important to tell what do these variables represent. So where P is equal to what? Perimeter of this rectangle, and A is the length of the sides of the equilateral triangle that we are discussing here. Equilateral triangle. Okay, I have written it in a short way, but you always write in its full form, that is equilateral triangle, in letters. So this will be the rule for the perimeter of an equilateral triangle using variables, and you have to learn this formula or rule. You will use all these formulas very frequently when you will do or solve more and more problems on geometry and mensuration.